Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and before we begin, we'll need to get through our obligatory risk disclosure. So let's go ahead do that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse any security, future, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information is to be contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company and its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does contain a substantial amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, guys, let's just flash the screen here again one more time, just so you can see it. Okay, hopefully that makes it visible. Hopefully you guys can see the risk disclosure. We'll just kind of flash that there for about 15 seconds or so, and then we'll move on to our news portal. It's too early. Yeah, I agree. It is early. All right, let's move on to the news portal. Okay, we'll take a look at the news. I'm gonna pause here and make sure everybody this is visible to people. If I can get a 1 in chat to let me know that you are indeed able to see this, and then I'll move on with the review. If I can get a 1 in chat if you are able to see this. Okay, you're not telling me I'm number 1. You're just telling me whether you can see this. Okay. All right. 5. Thank you. All right. So as far as news today, guys, the biggest, I would say, news event that we have here is the crude oil inventory report. Okay. For those crude oil traders out there, we have some note yield information that's coming in. Nvidia, which is obviously important, could have some impact on how the equities are traded before that's reported. And so Nvidia is obviously going to be something that is watched, okay, and probably has a pretty good impact on the direction of the market once they do post. So I would say relatively light in news today. Obviously, we have the EIA, we have the note yield. But as I mentioned before, as the week progresses, the impactfulness of these news events become more and more. Okay, so tomorrow we have the jobless claims, we have the GDP coming in, and then Friday we have the granddaddy of all news events, right? We have PCE, core PCE, consumer spending, and then some inflationary kind of sentiment from Michigan. Okay, all right. Let's now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, let's move on to the portal here, okay, and make sure that's visible to you guys. Okay, was coming at gold last night, offered a nice opportunity there. Okay. All right, hopefully that's visible to everyone. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. All right, guys. So daily chart, we just continue to remain in this consolidation pattern. Okay, 3 days of up move, a couple of days of down. It's basically kind of the pattern that we've been in of late. Okay. Right. So, although even with these consolidation patterns, market continues to provide us opportunity. Okay. But nonetheless, we are in some sort of consolidation pattern. I think we've already kind of talked about this. Kind of looks like more of an ascending wedge here. Okay. But nonetheless, we continue to make higher highs and higher lows. I still 3480, 3500 still remains a bit, continues to be a resistance zone. Okay. So we are kind of approaching that level. We're currently developing a bearish candle in an otherwise bullish move. Okay, moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. We're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here. Okay, you can see here that a fair number of buyers still remain in the market. Since Friday, we've had a little bit of more in the way of overlapping in the way of price here. Okay. We've come up to a level here that, again, came up to a level at 35.40 that was not accepted, led us to a little bit of a bearish move. And this right now feels more of a retracement rather than necessarily an impulsive move here to the upside. Okay. So, so while we remain in this kind of consolidation pattern, okay, that's kind of what I feel like we're in right now. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We had a nice move here to the downside, which I was able to take a little bit a piece of here during the Asia market. Let's see. Okay, all right. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile here. Fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the start of the session back here. Okay, and drag that across to the close of the session, right about here. Well, actually, we're already at, this is Tuesday. Sorry. Really not firing on all cylinders just yet here, guys. So bear with me. Okay. All right, so there's our range, right? So what is this telling us? Well, we did make an attempt to get above the range, only to be met with sellers. Okay, once the market closed, we remained back inside the range. All right, and now we're in some area of balance from yesterday. Okay, now if we look across the various initial balance ranges here, okay, you can see that Asia, right? Asia offered us a very nice extension to the downside. Okay, Asia offered a very nice extension to the 200% extension of the initial balance range. So there's fair number of sellers. Yes, beautiful extension, right? Nice extension to the 200%. Okay, London, probably a little bit more in the way of range. Let's take a look. Yeah, London a little bit more in the way to range, but still offered us potentially a failed auction trade, right? So Asia offered us a nice extension. London offered us a failed auction trade that took us right back down to the other side of initial balance. So a couple of nice opportunities in gold during the Asia and the London session. Okay. Right now we're going to go ahead and move into, yes, it rotated all the way through the initial balance range. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the US. Okay, and US is just open here. Okay, so relatively narrow range here. Right now we are inside range. So again, a little bit of neutral price action of late, I would say. Okay, we are in some sort of range right now. Okay, so we could either play the range. I would expect that this value area high has the potential of becoming somewhat resistant to price. We're going to go and put that in maybe a little bit of a different type of line here if I can. I'll make this a dash line if I can. Okay, something like that. Okay, so I would expect that 34, 35 level to be potentially resistant. We'll go ahead and open up VWAP. VWAP, I suspect we're either below or just on top of it here. Okay, so we'll open that up. Yeah, right on top of VWAP at the moment. Okay, so we're in some sort of bearish bearish structure, but we are challenging VWAP at the moment. We closed above it, but I would say that this 34.32 level remains a level that we need to get above before if this market is going to turn bullish. Okay, as I mentioned, we have still a fair number of bearish participants in this market, right? But we are challenging. We are challenging it. We've already kind of reacted away from VWAP, and now we're trying to see if we can get above VWAP. We have a sloping VWAP to the downside, so I would say that we continue to be in bearish structure, but the bulls have managed to stabilize this a little bit, right? Now, what kind of pattern are we developing here? Well, it seems like we're developing a little bit of a W pattern. So it would not be out of the realm of possibilities here that we make maybe another extension back to the upside, okay, and kind of remain in range, okay. So headed into the market, I would yes, a very nice potential W pattern that's establishing here, okay. So yeah, that's kind of, so right now I'm going to be waiting for this initial balance range to establish. And then I'm going to use the initial balance range again to let me know which direction that they plan to take this market. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to add maybe my anchored VWAP here just to the discussion. So anchored VWAP, we're going to go ahead, start of London here. All right. Start of London again. So anchored VWAP price is above our anchored VWAP, above London. It's trying to get above the daily VWAP and otherwise kind of sloping down. So a little bit of a mixed bag, but I think there's certainly the possibility that we could have the potential of rallying from here. Still need to get above 34.33, okay, 34.33 before we can really embrace the longs here, okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market here, okay. We'll start off with the daily chart. This market continues to be a market that has been bearish. Okay, we're maybe showing a little bit of signs here that maybe some buyers are interested at these levels here, but nonetheless, we've been in some sort of kind of pattern to the downside. Okay, now if I do my little extension tool here, we probably, if not reached, came close to the 100% extension of that range. Okay. Well, instead, so we still have a little bit of path to go to get to the 100% extension. Okay, we've gotten to the 61.8% extension of this move to the downside, and now we are pulling back here a little bit. Okay, so would like, I guess, if I'm going to participate in this market, well, a natural area for me would be the prior area of support that was broken. Okay. Prior area support that was broken could turn into resistance and offer us maybe a continuation move here to the downside on the daily. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off of an initial balance here. Okay, turning off initial balance, you can see that we're starting to maybe create a little bit of a rotation here on the 4-hour, right? This was steady down, down, down. Okay. Now we've broken some structure here to the upside. So it's down, down, down. Now we're maybe in the beginnings of maybe a leg up. Okay. And this might be merely just a pullback for maybe another leg higher. If that is the case, see what I did with my. Oh, okay. In any case, let's see if I can maybe use this one here. I'm going to measure this area here. The wrong direction. Where was I going to go with this? Okay, so we have the 61.8% extension here. Okay, that could be yet another leg for this move, right? And then we have the 100% extension coming in at 55. If I use this leg, this more recent leg. Okay, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the that's the daily chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart here. I seem to have lost some controls here. Let's see if I can restore these guys. What happened? Okay, here we go. All right, let's open this up here, guys. Sorry, I apologize. Just wanted to get to something that had all my indicators here. Okay, so let's go back to the crude oil market. Okay. Yeah, so looking at the crude oil market on the daily, we've already kind of touched on. Let's move this to the 30-minute chart here. Now, today, as you guys all know, we do have EIA today. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment if I can. Okay, so here we are. We are just coming off settlement. Okay, looks like we are trying to attempt to move higher here in this market. Okay, we've come down to a level of some support here on the left, 63, almost to the T. And now we've reversed. Now price is above our 9 EMA, above our anchored, not above our VWAP, and about to add my anchored VWAP here to this discussion. Okay, anchored VWAP is right here. So a lot of indications right now that we are maybe headed higher. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up initial balance. Let's see what initial balance offered here. And I managed to see right here. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn on the Asia session here. So what kind of initial balance range we got for Asia? Well, we got an extension to the downside. Okay. Not the cleanest, okay, not the cleanest of moves, but nonetheless to the downside. And then London appears to have created a situation where we're created an extension above. Let's move on to London here now. Okay, so London created an extension to the upside. Okay. Also provided maybe an opportunity that was of participation here. So we've already reached the 100% extension and pretty close to the 200% extension of this move. Okay, so right now, fair number, I would say fair number of bulls in this market. Okay, and now I guess the level that I'm going to be kind of watching is the 64 level. 64 level has been an area in the past that's created some resistance. Okay, so we're at 63.80 now. We have some major news that's coming here in the next hour and a half that could shake up the markets here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance range for the regular session here. Okay, so there we are. We're kind of creating a little bit of an indecisive candle here at the moment, and otherwise, market on the short term that is showing signs of some bullish behavior. Right, so where we were down, leveled off, and now we've actually created at least one break of structure here to the upside. Okay, all right, before I move into the equity markets, I'd like to again encourage folks to give me a like or two, smash the like button, smash the notification bell. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe. So just my attempt here at some marketing of the portal here. All right, before I kind of move on to the equity markets here. Okay, that includes you, Tron. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead now and move into the Nasdaq. Yeah, if you haven't received any gold nuggets by now, then there's not going to get any better. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the daily chart. All right, looking at the daily chart. Is giving us the same kind of look and feel here of what we were seeing on the gold, right? We seem to be in some sort of consolidation pattern, all right? Some sort of consolidation pattern in this market, right? So I don't know to make of this. I think I drew some sort of triangle pattern, right? Something that looked a lot like this here. Now, while I don't know the direction of this move, I do know the magnitude, right? So with the magnitude of the move, there's the mouth of this triangle. We don't know whether that's going to be to the upside or to the downside, but we know that the magnitude of the move is going to be of that magnitude. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Take a look at the 4-hour. Okay. So let's see. Turn this off here. Okay. So you can see we haven't really I guess maybe since the let's see here, Friday, Tuesday. Yeah, really haven't offered much in the way of direction here of late. We remain in some sort of range in this market. Okay, some sort of range in this market. So right now we seem to be at a resistance zone that has the potential of maybe causing the market to move lower. Okay, we still are very much I would say in somewhat of seller control here. I would say here, right? We still are inside this bearish leg. We had a rather move here with Powell, right, to the upside. Okay, that has allowed price to remain above some of the indicators that we care about. Okay, that could maybe provide us maybe a possibility of further upside move. But to me, looking at the 4-hour chart, it feels like the market is still heavy with sellers here. Okay, still not embracing entirely this upside move. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's go ahead and see what the market is trying to tell us here. Okay, so we're getting a couple of indications here that maybe that we are beginning to get into some downside structure here in the Nasdaq. Prices below our settlement, prices below our 90 MA, prices below our VWAP that is sloping to the downside. Okay, so where could this current move go? Well, we have levels down below here, right? We have this 23,540. This is also point of control of this volume profile of the visible range volume profile here. So we're starting to see that we are getting into maybe some sort of bearish structure in this market. I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here and take a look and see where we are with respect to the volume profile. So we're going to start off with Tuesday here and drag that across to the close of Tuesday. Okay, and here we are. You can see that the market did attempt to get above value, all right, during Tuesday's session, and remains above value from yesterday, but it seems like it's rapidly losing some momentum here. Okay, so an area that I'm going to be looking at to see if it does manage to hold is this level right here. Okay, the high end of value. So I'm going to change the color here. So this high end of value, all right, right around this, what is this? 23,553 level. It'll be interesting to me if price is able to hold that level and offer us maybe an opportunity to the downside. It seems like we are kind of destined to reach at least the point of control here, 23,540, before we make any sort of change in direction in this market. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. We have the point of control from yesterday's value range, and we have the point of control from this volume visible range volume profile. Okay, let's go ahead and add the anchored VWAP to this discussion. We'll see where London placed all of this here. Okay, and then we'll maybe take a quick peek at the so yeah, everything indicating right now to the downside. Okay, we're going to look at the initial balance across all these sessions here. We'll start off with the Tokyo session and see if it offered us any sort of hint on direction here. Okay, so we'll open the initial balance. So we did get a little bit of a failed auction to the downside, and then ultimately an auction to the downside. So we got an auction to the downside to the 50% extension, and then the rotation back to the top end of the initial balance range for Asia. And then I'm going to go ahead and open this up for London. London, it appears that we've extended here to the downside, indicating that we have a fair number of sellers here in this market. Okay, so we're in the process of getting some sort of extension here to the downside, which could lead to maybe further extension if we do end up accepting value and getting below there. I don't see any reason why we have the potential of heading lower here. Okay, all the way down to this 23,500 level. So we're at an interesting level here right now. Okay, we see that price is up against value. That could provide us maybe a bounce, okay, off of this level, or maybe a bounce off of the point of control. These are a couple of locations I'll be looking for. Otherwise, there's a good possibility that we could potentially rotate all the way through value. Okay, so that's pretty much what I have for the NASDAQ. Okay, right now we're kind of at an interesting level here, right at value area high. Looking at this on the 15-minute, let's see if kind of giving us any kind of different indication here. But yeah, so right now we are reacting away from that in otherwise kind of bearish structure where we broke some structure here to the downside, indicating that there might be a fair amount of momentum to the downside. Okay, let's go ahead and turn our attention here to the Nasdaq, not Nasdaq, but the ES here. We're gonna go ahead and open up the daily, kind of same kind of look and feel that we saw, just a different kind of pattern. Okay, you're welcome, Frizu. Different kind of pattern. Hopefully hit the like button on your way out, Frizu. That would be awesome. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so you can see that we got some sort of rising kind of wedge pattern that's developing here in the ES, something along those kind of lines. Again, some sort of consolidation pattern of sorts that we're seeing here. Okay, thank you, Frisu. Appreciate you. Okay, so in any case, we have again some sort of consolidation pattern that we are establishing. Yeah, absolutely, Aslan. Every session has its own failed auction potential. Okay, every session has its own failed auction potential. Okay, London remains open. Again, we're kind of at the tail end of London right now. We're getting a potential extension to the downside. Okay, but yeah, all these sessions all have the same, right? Okay, all right. So daily chart, again, we are in some sort of consolidation range. 4-hour chart also indicating some sort of consolidation, but turn off initial balance here. We got a little bit of a push higher last week. Okay, again, now we are in consolidation. We're up against this 65, I guess, close to the 6,500 level. That is showing signs of maybe some resistance. Looking maybe there's a possibility that we could have another maybe leg lower. Okay, as part of this consolidation range here. Let's see if I can get my tool. Okay, so this right here, right, seems like we are in some sort of consolidation pattern, right? Maybe a rising, maybe some sort of rising wedge. Okay, that could lead us maybe to something along these lines, right? Maybe there is a path to that location there on the 4-hour. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. You can see that we are looks like a bit toppy. Okay, in this market, we've gotten, I guess, you could maybe argue we got maybe an M pattern, right, developing in the ES, right? Maybe this is the top end of the M, bottom end of the M. So again, a little bit of a potential M pattern maybe developed in here around this area of resistance. Would not be surprising if we do extend here. Okay, let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's compare. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So let's take a look at Tuesday, and we'll take a look. All right, so we're above value. Again, I'm going to mark the same levels that we had. Seems like the Nasdaq was a lot closer to this value area than the ES currently is. Okay, our point of control again coming in at relatively the same level here. So would not surprise me. Okay, if price were to come and revisit some of these levels before it continued to the upside. Okay, if we do get some sort of acceptance, we have a much larger range for price to potentially revisit. Okay. So interesting level here around, let's say 64.72, and then ultimately 64.56. I think maybe some downside targets for this market. Okay. Number of indicators right now are showing us that maybe we are in some sort of bearish structure, right? Or maybe shifting from bullish to neutral to maybe potentially bearish. All right. So I'm going to be, obviously monitoring my channel here, right? If I am going to participate in any sort of bullish move here, I need to see the channel kind of break up to the upside before I entertain anything along those lines. Otherwise, I'm intent in watching this continue in this channel pattern to the downside. Okay, So that's kind of what I have for the ES. Taking a look here, gotten the likes have gotten better. Tron is probably still holding out on me, but let's go ahead and move on to the Dow, okay, and take a look at the daily chart. Okay, so looking at the daily chart, you can see that we are. I would say maybe a bit more bullish. I would say in the Dow, we got a push up on Monday or Friday. Uh, um, say Monday was a lower day. Tuesday reacted away from this VWAP that I had drawn in the 9 EMA. Okay. So of the three markets, this market looks a bit more healthier to the upside here. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart, this does appear more of a kind of maybe a little bit of a retracement of sorts here. We retraced to this VWAP from a few days ago. Okay. Reacted away from it, and now we are hovering. I guess some indecision here as to whether we continue higher or do we have another maybe leg lower here. Okay, maybe we come back down to revisit this point of control here before we make any sort of a meaningful move here to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 4-hour. Moving on to the 30-minute chart here. Again, we'll maybe remove some of our drawings here just to kind of clear things up here a little bit. Okay, so we're hovering right up against the value. Looks like our VWAP even kind of maybe creating maybe a little bit of a rounding kind of top here. Again, we see that little M pattern that we saw in the other markets. So yeah, I would not rule out the possibility of maybe a little bit of a move lower. Okay, and maybe the target being some maybe not yesterday's settlement price, but prior day's settlement price here around say 45,350. That doesn't seem like an unlikely move here. Okay, now if I do a little bit of Fibonacci extension analysis on this, right, I go down here and take it to the top. Well, then you can see Fibonacci is telling us that we can easily get to 45,130 in this market. Okay, and then ultimately down to some of these lows that we have down here, right? 44,900. Okay, not out of the realm of possibility here. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the start of Tuesday here. Tuesday. Okay, there it is. We'll drag that across here to the close of Tuesday. And there you have it, right? We are above value. Okay, in a similar position as the other markets. Again, I'm going to mark this level here on below me as an area of interest here. So this area down below is an area of interest. 44,418 is a nice area, maybe for a potential bounce in price. We also have the point of control in this visible range, as well as the visible, as well as the fixed range volume profile coming in at the same level. That as maybe another area for price to target before we see any sort of reversal in price. Okay. So yeah, on the shorter time frame, I'm seeing a little bit more in the way of some bullish price action. It'll be interesting to see if we do break below. We've already broken below settlement, already broken below my 9 EMA and my VWAP, but we've been in kind of some sort of range here, right? So market has really kind of lacked some direction of late here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make one final pass here with the time that we have remaining here. We'll just make one little final pass and see what how things are developing. You can see that let's see, initial balance. Okay, the U.S. session. I think this is U.S. No, this is not U.S. Probably London, maybe. Yeah, London. Okay, so looks like we're trying to make maybe a leg higher here in this market. I'm gonna turn to the U.S. session here. Okay, we're kind of developing a rather normal, I would say, normal range here. Okay, so I would say that maybe the market is looking a bit bullish as we head into the market here in the gold. Okay. If we do manage to get above the settlement price, that could lead us back to the highs here around 34.45. Crude oil market, again, just looking at the 30-minute chart and getting an initial peak here. Okay, well, as the moment I started to think that maybe we could head higher, who comes in? More sellers. Okay. Today's market is particularly something that we want maybe to sit on the sidelines for, at least initially. We have EIA here coming in about an hour. So, but the moment I start to think that maybe there's an opportunity for the market to rally, sellers step into this market. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see are the sellers moving in just to secure a better price in this market because they're expecting a good report, or has the report kind of leaked and they're positioning themselves for yet another swing lower. We'll have to wait and see for the report to take place. Okay. NASDAQ, we were, I guess, hovering around this initial balance or the value area high. We continue to kind of hover around value area high. So this will, again, another interesting level here. Do we reverse off of value area high? Do we reverse off of point of control, or do we continue in that path? Okay. Right now, if we were to look at this, it's looking like maybe we are in some sort of bearish structure in an otherwise maybe market that's starting to show signs maybe of some weakness. Okay. All right. So that's kind of, so yeah, heading into the session, I would say bearish. The same is true for, I think, across the board here. All of them are showing different levels of the same thing. ES is not as close to the value area high as the NASDAQ. So again, offering us maybe another opportunity here from this point down to this point, maybe as kind of a potential scalp trade, certainly. YM, the Dow, also offering us, although showing a little bit more in the way of maybe some bullish, right? We're seeing some wicks on the ends of these candles, not showing us the same kind of weakness maybe as some of these other markets, but bearish right now nonetheless. Okay. I think that's it for me, guys. I think that's what I wanted to provide as far as analysis for the markets. So we have gold looking bullish. Crude oil, again, I thought it was maybe turning a corner, also looking a bit bearish. And then I would say equity markets also looking a bit bearish, but Dow maybe showing some signs of maybe some strength here to remain in some sort of range here. Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and close off the session. That is it, Tron. That is it. That is what you get for free. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. That's it for me. We'll go ahead and close off. We'll go ahead and close off this session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Okay.